Hey you guys, today we're talking about the glute bridge. It's such a good exercise to work your glutes in its most contracted position. So you're gonna see it a lot in my programming. Setup is really important for this. You need a bench height that's gonna allow you to get full hip extension at the top of the movement. That's when your glutes are most contracted. So I'm 5'8". For some of you, the standard size bench might be a little too tall, and I'm gonna show you how to work around that. But first, let me show you how we set this up. So I always start out by making sure my shoulder blades are right at the edge of the bench. I like to use wedges that elevates my feet slightly because it helps me to be able to achieve that full hip extension at the top. If you're not able to get a full contraction at the top of that range, that probably means your bench is too high. So you can use wedges as I've done, or you can get a bench, and I'll show you what that looks like. You can get a short step and put that under your feet, like this. And that's going to allow you to push up into full extension, hip extension even more, okay? The other thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to keep your neck and spine neutral. So that means chin tucked the whole time. It's not a good glute bridge unless you have a double chin. So just so you know that. And then you're going to pretend like your body is a little bit like a seesaw, or I've also heard like there's a board going from your neck to your hips. So instead of doing this, right, we don't want any of that. We want everything moving in alignment. The range of motion is really small. The idea is that we want to keep our shins vertical the whole time. So as you're coming down and your knees start to pull back and your shins start to break vertical, then you need to come back up. This allows the tension to remain really high in those glutes. Another thing I see people doing is really shorting out the movement. They pick a weight that is way too heavy, and so they're really only coming up about right here instead of getting that full contraction at the top. So if you're not able to get that full contraction at the top, that means likely your load is too heavy. You're not creating as much tension in the glutes as you need to. So you might need to ditch the ego and really focus on that form and get that full hip extension at the top. There's a couple ways that you can load this. If you're at home, most people just have dumbbells, and that's okay. So you can use one dumbbell, and it can look like this. If you need to add more weight, you can take two dumbbells and hold them vertical like this. My favorite way to perform the glute bridge is on the Smith machine at the gym. The setup is so much easier, but my second favorite way is to do it with the barbell and bumper plates. I like the bumper plates because it allows you to get in and out of the movement easier. The bumper plates are nice and tall, so it allows you to slide the bar right over your hips. The other thing you need to make sure you have is a pad for your hips. You don't want the limiting factor to be hip pain from the bar rubbing on your hip bones. That just hurts. Then you're going to slide the bar right over your hips. I'm using wedges to allow a little more elevation to get more hip extension in the top of the movement. I place my shoulder blades along the edge of the bench and I push up and get myself into position. You're going to want to hold the bar firmly with both hands, tuck that chin, and then lower until the point that your shins are about to break vertical, and then come right back up. And roll the bar off your hips. Okay, I hope that helps.